What's going on, people? Today I got in front of me my Ruger SR9c. We're finna compare this to the subcompact Glock, baby Glocks. This right here is this is a popular comparison right here because they are really they're really in a nutshell, they're almost the same gun, different makes. You know, Glock kind of locked down this whole polymer frame thing, and Ruger, when they made this SR9 series, it seemed like, to me, it seemed like they were aiming at Glock with this. But don't quote me on that. I'm just saying what it seems like. But let's get to the comparison. Now, for one, by classification, this is the SR9c, so that's compact, and Glock calls this subcompact. But they are very similar in size. Show you the slide comparison. You know, it's a little bit longer on the SR9c. Yeah, there it is. And in height, kind of pretty much the same. Well, the SR9c is a little bit longer, especially if I put in the flush plate on my Glock. Then you're looking at this. I don't have the flush plate for my Ruger, so bear with me. Nah, but okay, for starters, I want to talk about the grip. Hold on, let me get this loaded because my Glock, that's my everyday carry. It's because it's like, this is Glock 27, so this is 40 cal. I love this. I take this everywhere I go, but I'm not going to let this stand in the way of the actual comparison of what I feel like, will be, as far as something for you to make a decision based off. I'm going to keep my opinion out of it. Well, I'm going to have my opinion in it, but I'm going to point out the things that I think are effective on both sides. Now, for one, I start the Glock. Looking at this size and the capacity, 9 rounds. So capacity on the subcompact, 9 rounds. Then this is 40 caliber. Then I got on this, my capacity on my short mag is 10 rounds on a 9mm. Now that's where I feel like Glock has them, because they can fit. You can fit. If you're thinking about a Glock 26, that has 10 rounds in this magazine, and this has 10 rounds in this, and it's a little bit smaller. So if you want to go based off size, yeah, the subcompact Glock is smaller and has the exact same capacity as the Ruger SR9c. So Glock will win the capacity and in size categories. Now, as far as a customization, well, you say for instance, if you want in the tactical lights, or you want to get a laser, the Ruger SR9, they have a rail. So, for those of you who want to equip the weapon with something, you have the option, at least by rail, with the Ruger SR9c. Glock subcompact, and this is the 3rd gen. I'm uncertain if the 4th gen 4s have the rail or not, but gen 3s don't have a rail. So if you want to customize this, it won't be by rail, I'll tell you that. So as far as from a customization standpoint, you got to get the nod to the Ruger on that one. Now, also from a price perspective, we got Glocks going from, you get lucky, $4.99. Not so lucky in standard price, you're looking at $5.99 for any Glock. All Glocks are pretty much the same price, at least 9 and 40. I think those 45s, I think that's when the price goes up a little bit. So between $4.99 and $5.99 for this, and this Ruger SR9c, most you're gonna pay for this is at the worst case scenario, you'll pay $450. Best case scenario, you'll pay around $350. You know, so Ruger's $100 cheaper than the Glock. You know, so Ruger definitely wins in that category. Now, another thing that may be this is really the deciding factor for a lot of people. Ruger has a slide safety. It's ambi, that's why I'm pushing it on the opposite side, but it's moving on that side. Ambi slide safety. Glock has no slide safety, but they have this trigger safety. You know, so you know, if you don't have your finger on the trigger, it won't go in. But you do have your, well, let's safety check. Trying to blow nobody away. But you push that in. That's just, which is not a safety. I don't really care how you look at it. It's not a safety. Ruger has the exact same thing though. You know, so from a safe perspective, Ruger is really killing Glock as far as safety features, because you have the slide safety, trigger safety, loaded chamber indicator, and strike indicator. So from a safety perspective, Ruger definitely over Glock. Now, from a grip standpoint, let's make this fair, because since I don't, they both have, well, when you buy a Glock, you're gonna get two, with 3rd gen Glocks, you're gonna get two magazines, and they're gonna have the they're gonna fit flush with the magazine. With the Ruger, you're going to get one compact magazine and one full-size magazine. So, and they're going to have, like, if you buy it new, it will have a flush fitting plate. I bought mine used, so I don't have it. But to make it fair for those who, you know, Glock has an extension plate that you can buy. And, you know, with that being said, to make it a fair comparison, for those that care about the pinky fitting, from a grip standpoint, what you come up with is, you have the Glock has the finger groove system here. You know, so when you grab it, your fingers are gonna lock into the gun. You know, this is a bit chunky, especially have that angled grip, and this right here really sticks out pretty far. When you grab a slimmer pistol, you're gonna be like, yeah, this right here is really chunky. A lot of people don't like Glocks because of how chunky they are, but you know, I can deal with it. My hand's pretty small, but you know, I can feel it. But I've grown accustomed to it. But I think the Ruger I think that you're gonna get a better grip on the Ruger just based on the size the size, because this Ruger, the grip is it's it's not chunky. It's just it's slim, and then at this point it gets thin, so you can get the best possible grip, and it's comfortable. It's a comfortable grip, you know. And with the pinky extension, your pinky will rest there. If you don't have it, your pinky will swing, and you know, for those that come, it will be uncomfortable, but at least they give you the option. If you want your pinky, you can switch it. But with the Glock, you actually have to purchase the grip extension, because both of them come like this, you know. So from a grip perspective, I got to get that to the Ruger, just because. And that, on top of that, that's because of my hand size. My hand isn't just the biggest hand, so I can't for this. I get the best grip on the Ruger. My fingers sit well on it. This is really perfect to just make me have a great handle on the firearm. I have a good handle on this as well, but like right there, that's a bit extra. It's like it's keeping me from hugging it. Like for me, I like to hug my guns with my fingers, like to hug it tight to where I know it's not going to go anywhere. So with that in mind, I'm definitely have to give that to the Ruger. And trigger, why did that shit have to happen? So I gotta talk over the phone ringing. Nah, anyway, from a trigger perspective, I want to say hands down Ruger. I mean, it's the same trigger system as far as the having a trigger safety, but as far as when you pull the trigger where it breaks, yeah, the Glock, pull that trigger. Yeah, Ruger pretty much breaks right where it is. You know, it's pretty much no pull. It's like as soon as you pull it back, it breaks. But with the Glock, you know, you see you have to pull it, breaks in the back. You know, so with that in mind, I got to get that trigger to the Ruger. But I will say that can serve as a bit of more of a safety for a Glock, because since there are no external safeties, you pull this trigger, it's just not gonna pull immediately, and it does take a little bit of force to pull to finally get it to where it's gonna release it. That's if you have one in the chamber. But you know, this right here, as soon as that's the breaking point. There is no trigger pull. Like, I mean, the trigger pull, it breaks as soon as you pull it. So from an early break standpoint, if you like an early break trigger, you want to go with the Ruger. So with that being my preference, I'm definitely going to give that to the SR9c. And if you want to feel a little bit of if you want to pull a trigger before you get your break, you might like the Glock trigger better. But for me, I like a quick breaking trigger, so that would make me say that the Ruger trigger is better than the Glock trigger. Now the dot system, this right here, I don't think that I'll be fair to judge this, because I don't shoot with the sights. I shoot for center mass when I shoot. So I'll just give you a look. You know, you got the you know, Glock has their particular system with the line and the dot, and Ruger has it's a 3-dot system, but this 3 dots, you can adjust it, but these dots in the back are smaller than typical 3 dots that I've seen on firearms. So, you know, honestly, I don't care too much for these the dot sights, because I don't shoot with them. So But I will say from what's common on firearms, Glock has a more common sight system than Ruger's. Theirs is definitely unique, and maybe so it's up so high because of the loaded chamber indicator. Because if you do aim down the sights, the loaded chamber indicator does not hinder you looking down the sights. So maybe that's what that's for. I wouldn't know. Now, as far as the takedown's gonna go Glock all the way, because you don't need anything for a Glock takedown. Dry fire. Like the back. There you go. Take you down apart. Ruger, not so much so. Gotta cock it back. Just so happen to have a pin here. Pop out this thing. Oh, push the latch down. And now, so yeah, you definitely want to go with the Glock is definitely going to win in that department as far as the takedown. It's all bullshit. And so I would say from a concealability standpoint, with the Glock being smaller, that inches will start to count. So you'll be able to conceal the subcompact Glock maybe just a little bit better than the Ruger. See, as far as thickness is concerned, Glock is say it's just a little bit thicker. Not really enough to just. I don't think it's big enough to make a serious difference. But the Glock is a little bit thicker. But Ruger has a more rounded off slide, so when you look at it next to each other, it looks like the Glock is way thicker, but not necessarily, because it's just rounded off and it gets thicker. This right here is it's the same size all the way down. So I don't know, man. If I was to make a recommendation of these two firearms, honestly, man, I don't know, man. I couldn't recommend, because it's so many things I like about both of them. But I will say, if you're shopping on a budget, the Ruger hands down, because you got this firearm that you could potentially at the best get it for $350, and it's great, grip, safety, and plus another, if you need a safety, definitely Ruger hands down. But if you want something that has a name that just name and reputation you can't beat, got gun and runs dirty, shoots any kind of ammunition you put in it, doesn't really need to be cleaned as much. I mean, if you just want to buy you a gun and just say, whenever I pull this trigger, it's going bang, I'm gonna get that you got to get that to the Glock. Pay a little bit extra for it, but I feel like it's worth every penny. About to drop the shit on my keyboard. I don't need that. But anyway, yeah, I feel like a Glock is worth every penny, just based on the fact of the sheer reliability. You get the size of your preference. I don't know. I can't say anything against a Glock. I really can't. it's nothing to argue against a Glock. You know, only thing that you can really argue is that there's no safety. You know, that's the only argument that you can really make against a Glock. But at the same time, you know, if you have a firearm and you need to if you don't practice safe gun handling, hell, you'll shoot yourself on a gun that has a safety. You know, so safe firearm handling is very important. So if you practice safe firearm handling, that safety won't be as important. You know, just know that, you know, when you conceal it, you need something that's gonna cover the trigger. This, if you riding with one in the chamber, you need something that's gonna cover the trigger so nothing accidentally discharges your weapon. You know, you practice keeping your finger off the trigger, you won't have nothing to worry about with a gun without a safety. If you have kids, then, you know, leave your magazine out. You know, that can be a safety. You know, I don't know, you know. So for me, the safety isn't such a big deal. But I don't have any children, so maybe that's why. I don't know. But it's so many other ways that you could go about saying there's no safety on the gun. I mean, with this, you can leave it loaded all the time and throw that safety on there, you know. So from a budget standpoint, I gotta go Ruger SR9c. From a dependable standpoint, man, you just gotta give it to the Glock. I don't know, man. I like both of these pistols. You can't go wrong with either one. And I'm not to say that the Ruger is not reliable. It just doesn't have the reputation that the Glock has, because this is a new line of pistols. Because Ruger were making these P90 series, and the grips were like really, the grips were like those cell phones from the 1990s that were like bricks. That's what the grip on the Ruger P90 series was like. But the SR9c, this right here, they went modern, and I like it. I like it a lot. They had an SR9, SR40. They also got an SR22. I've been thinking about getting a 22. I might be looking at that. But I don't know, man. It's two. You can't go wrong with either one. You spend you a little bit extra money and get you one of the best pistols that money can buy. I mean, like I said, man, I heard them guys at the shooting range say that guys shot 100,000 rounds through some of those Glocks. No replacing of the parts, man. That's amazing. That's amazing. You're not gonna get, and that's for $600, man. Please shoot 100,000 rounds through a high point. See what happens. Can you, if you gonna make it through 500 rounds through a high point? But nah, I'm not gonna even get into that. But I don't know, man. You can't go wrong with either one of these pistols. And plus, they got this in all black. So if you don't like the black and gray finish, they also got this in all black. You know me, I like options, versatility. You know, I don't want my guns to look like everybody else's guns, or I don't want all my guns to look exactly alike. So I'll go two-tone here, two-tone there, all black here. If I need to, get me all chrome. You know, my preference. You know, but really can't go wrong with either one of these, man. But if you need a safety, if that's the deciding factor, definitely Ruger. But better, just overall pistol, I get that to a Glock.